Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of Daily Stock, we are going to look at the quarterly earnings of the FedEx, which is the logistic company. And if you remember, just a couple of days back, I think most probably last week itself, we had done the review for the UPS. So this is a competitor of the UPS, and we are going to look at its quarterly earnings to see how it is evolving in this challenging macroeconomic environment where the higher inflation has squeezed the spending of the many household, and as a result of that the purchasing power has reduced for the better part of this year. And with elevated inflation, the economy wasn't really progressing that much. There wasn't that much growth, and in this tough economic environment, the FedEx has been able to deliver cost optimization with the reduction in the cost and improvement in the operating margin. But in face of these strong headwinds, it hasn't been able to show total growth in the revenue. Instead of the growth, we have the scenario where the net revenue, the total revenue has declined, but with its earlier initiatives of cutting cost and improving efficiency, it has been able to deliver rise in net income. And this is, in company's own words, the unprecedented achievement where it has been able to rise and deliver the raise in its operating margin, the improvement in net income, even though there has been decline in the revenues year on year. Now we are going to head to the company's quarterly earnings, which were released yesterday. And with these earnings, the company's stock is trading around 10 percentage point lower. The today has been sort of bloodbath for the company's shareholders as they have lost significant amount of the value. And with these sharp decline, I feel even though the short term outlook has turned bearish, there is still value if you are someone who is trading and investing from the medium term to longer term perspective. There, I feel we still have the possibility of FedEx rebounding in course of time. So for that, we do need to have a solid fundamental outlook, which we can then convincingly use for our technical analysis. We need a solid company plan which will deliver value in face of these adverse business environment. For the cost cutting, the company had taken the initiative named under Drive, and that has now started to show results. With this initiative, the company has been able to improve its operating margin, and that is providing some solace as the company has been able to improve its net income even in face of decline in the revenue. The profit increase is being mainly driven by higher yield and increased efficiency, offset by lower shipment. And if you go into the details of the revenue decline, you can see the main contributing factors were volume decline, lower fuel surcharges, and reduced demand surcharges. along with the mix shift towards lower yielding services. If we look at the forecast which has been provided by the FedEx, the company is expecting this decline in the revenue to continue moving forward as well, and it is expecting the single digit decline in revenue year over year. So there is moderation in the company's expectations of how the FedEx is going to do in coming quarters. And one important thing is that its drive initiative is likely to deliver the transformation in the processes which will reduce its operating cost by $1.8 permanently. So this is a big achievement for the company. If we look at the company's share price performance for this year, it is up around 60 percentage point year to date. So even after this sharp decline of 10 percentage point, the year has been quite good for the company, and to a major part that comes from this reduction in the cost. This drive initiative is now paying off and is kind of a saving grace for the company because the revenues are declining, and that is making it difficult for the company to achieve profitability in the face of decline in demand. And the economic outlook is not going to change anytime soon. It is going to take time. So, as and when that happens, I think the company will see a turnaround of sort, because if we are able to combine the efficiency which has been achieved by the FedEx in recent quarters along with the revenue growth, then that will be a remarkable journey for the company and its shareholders. But that time is still to come, but we can be waiting on it, and maybe in coming quarters we will get to see that as well. Let us look at its quarterly earnings statement to get a good idea of how the company is earning the money and where that money is going, how it is spending. So we are going to look at the consolidated statement of income for the 3 months ended November 30th. If we look at the total revenues, which are just slightly above $22.1 billion, and around 3 percentage point lower if we compare it to the revenues for the quarter ended November 30th, 2022. So year on year there is 3% decline for the 3 months, and for the 6 months ending November 30th there is this decline of 5 percentage point in the total revenues. FedEx is in a business which has thin profit margin because it takes a lot of money to move things around, and as a result of that its margin is not very high. And even in that environment it has been able to successfully improve its operating margin. So I think that makes it much more phenomenal. The net income for the last quarter was at $900 million, which is higher by 14 percentage points if we compare it to the the net income of $788 million for the same period of last year. For the 6 month period, there is 19% growth in the net income. And for this quarter, the EPS has been declared at US dollar 3.55, which is 16 percentage point higher from the same period of last year. Now we are not going to dwell much in the balance sheet, but if we look at the cash flow statement, its cash flow is stabilizing. There has not been much decline in the cash and cash equivalents of the company in the last quarter. Whereas if you look at the developments of the same period 2022, there was more than 2.2 billion decline in the cash and cash equivalent, and that had prompted many concerns among the shareholders. But now things seems to be stabilizing, and even though the improvement is still to come, we can expect these steps the headaches has taken to help it in coming quarters, and maybe once these initiative starts to show intended results, desired results, we will have substantial improvement in the company's cash and cash equivalents. Its cash holding is also likely to rise in course of time. So overall, the fundamental picture is not that bad, even though the business environment is still quite challenging. Now, coming to the technical side of the story, here we have these formation of higher highs for the stock in last couple of months. The same can't be said about the lower lows because we have seen these swing low being formed around 224, and from there on it started to rise substantially with these recent swing high coming in at 286. And I feel with this fresh breakout of sort, we have the momentum on the bullish side. So if in coming weeks, in next couple of sessions, if we see stabilization of the price in the FedEx around 240 or thereabout, in a course of time, as and when it starts to show bullish momentum, we can even think about getting involved for a long trade because the outlook still remains cautiously bullish, if not overtly bullish. And in this kind of scenario, we can keep looking for buy on dips opportunities. And FedEx, I think, still falls in a buy on dips kind of trade where you can rely on the fundamental and technicals to come together and deliver value for you. So if for next couple of sessions there is not much decline, and if after consolidation the bullish spark is being seen in the price movement of the FedEx, then I think we do have the reasons to believe in the possibility of FedEx again climbing towards 286 or above that in coming months, if not in coming weeks. So, keeping that possibility in mind, we can keep looking for buying opportunities in the FedEx. But if you're a short term trader, then the obvious choice is to keep looking for opportunities to short because right now I think we should not be trying to buy it. It will be like trying to catch the falling knife. We will have to take it easy. We will have to allow it to stabilize on these lower levels, and then the better strategy will be to keep looking for short selling opportunities if your outlook is of short term and you are trying to go for short sell trades in next couple of days in coming session, then it is going to be better for you to keep looking for shorting opportunities. But if you are a long term investor, then I think just like the medium term outlook, the long term outlook is also more favorable for the buy trade as long as the price remains above 220, and that is also the recent swing low. So I feel that is going to be a key level to watch out for if you are a medium term to longer term investor. And if in coming weeks, for next couple of weeks, there is no substantial decline on the lower side, then we can indeed go for a new buy trade with expectations of these formation of high highs to continue in the FedEx, and in course of time we can expect the FedEx to climb towards 300 levels. So that possibility is still quite strong, and that is my opinion as well. So, looking at the fundamental and the technical side of the FedEx, I feel we have to go for short selling opportunities if your outlook is for short duration. For next couple of sessions, the momentum is likely to remain bearish, but as and when the things starts to stabilize and these sharp decline stops and it gives way to a consolidatory momentum movement, then we can stop these bearishness on the FedEx share price and change our outlook to bullishness. So from medium term to longer term possibility, we can go for a long trade if things stabilize around 230 to 40 levels in coming weeks. Now it's time for me to sign off. If you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.